Likutei Sichos, Chelik Tezvav, volume 15, the Sicha for Teves, which obviously speaks about the month of Teves. And in this Sicha, we will get to learn the greatness of the Jewish body and how it, specifically the body of a Jew, more than the soul, provides that, quote, pleasure for Hashem himself. Just a few things to help us flow through the Sicha. There's a verse that compares Hashem, meaning Havaya, Yudke Vavke, the emanation of godliness, to the sun. It says, Kishemesh umogen Havaya Lekim, that just like the sun gives out light, it gives out warmth, so too Hashem gives out that light, that warmth, that spirituality. Another thing, Ish v'isha, typically a man and woman, that is usually a metaphor for the relationship between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Knesset Yisrael, us and Hashem. Hashem is considered to be the Ish, and the Knesset Yisrael, we're considered to be like the Isha. Also, in terms of the soul and the body, the Neshama and the Guf, the body is more likened to the Isha, whereas the soul that gives off, radiates and gives off the energy, the light, that is likened to the Ish. Another contrast between the Neshama, the soul, and the body. The Neshama represents Gilui Elikus, the revelation of godliness, because you see their godliness. It's obvious. When there's a soul in a body, you see that it's alive. You see that obvious life. Whereas the Guf, the body, typically is a agent which conceals on the godliness. You don't see the godliness, you see the body. It doesn't show you, it doesn't allow you to see outright the godliness that's there. Let's go into the Sicha. So, Rosh Chodesh Teves always falls out on Chanukah. Now, it's called Rosh, it's not called the beginning of the month, it's called the head of the month. The head is something which is kolos, which includes the entire month. That's why Rosh Chodesh is called Rosh Chodesh. Now, from this we could understand that this is the case, that the Rosh Chodesh Teves, the head of the month of Teves, which includes the entire month of Teves, falls out on Chanukah, that there's an inherent connection between Chanukah and Teves. Another thing, if you look at the month of Teves, which we said is all included in this one day, there are two highlights in this month. There are two significant days. Of course, the first one being Asara B'Teves, the 10th of Teves, which is a fast day in which we mourn the fact that the siege was laid on Jerusalem, which is really the beginning of the exile of all the events that happened after that as a result of that. And then, of course, there is the Chof Dalet Teves, the 24th of Teves, which is the Yortzeit of the Alter Rebbe. Now, since these are 2 days that are established, firmly established, as part of the month of Teves, so it follows that this has a special connection between this and the general theme of what Teves is all about and how it connects to Hanukkah. What is it then? So if we will look in the Megillas Esther, is actually perhaps the only place in Tanakh where the month of Teves is mentioned, and explicitly. And there it says that Esther, Vatilokach Esther el HaMelech Achashverosh, B'chodesh Asiri hu Chodesh Teves, that Esther was taken to the palace of the king Achashverosh. It was in the 10th month, counting from Nisan, and it says this is the month of Teves. On this, the Chazal, our sages comment in the Seches Megillah, that what was significant about the fact that she was taken in this month, how did it make it special? Why is the Megillah telling it to us? Because it tells us this is Yerach, this is a month, Shahaguf Nena min Aguf, that the body, one's body, Nena takes pleasure from another body, from a body. Why is that? I mean, simply speaking, as Rashi explains, because in this month it is extremely cold, typically, in many, many climates, and therefore the warmth of one body provides pleasure, provides benefit for another body. Now we know that everything that we see in the Gashmiistic world, in the material world, actually is an expression or evolves from the spiritual realm. In other words, the cold, that chill that there is here in this world, in the Gashmias, in this time of the year, is actually a result of the fact that in the spiritual realm, there's some kind of chill. What is that chill? Well, we know that during the months of the summer, the fact that the sun shines so strong and the fact that it's hot, that is representative of the fact that there is a great revelation of godliness and it's an auspicious time and actually very easy time to get closer to Hashem. So you understand that the opposite of that is in the winter months, that is, when it's cold, especially and specifically the month of Teves, when it's the height of the cold, the height of the chill. There isn't the obvious revelation of godliness. There isn't, so to speak, the natural revelations of godliness, and that's why then there is a greater effect and a greater advantage to our avodah of Hashem, by more so than any other months of the year. And this is what the sages hint to when they say that the guf is ne'ena min haguf, that the body derives benefit, derives pleasure from the other body. Meaning, because, as we said in the introduction, ish ve'isha, man and woman, this is really a mashal for the relationship between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and us, Knesset Yisrael. So to speak, the guf, meaning Hashem, the ultimate body, which really, as the Rebbe will explain later, guf is the guf of something, meaning the actual thing itself. That is a reference to the essence. The essence of godliness has pleasure, so to speak, from the guf, from the simple basic guf, the body of a yid. Now, since everything is exact, everything in Torah is 100% exact and accurate, therefore this expression that guf, ne'ena min haguf, is not just ambiguously to say Hashem and Knesset Yisrael, but this is telling us, like we just said, the guf, the atzmus, the essence of Hashem, is deriving pleasure from the guf, the body of a yid. Not just the soul of a Jew, but more so the body of a yid. You see, in the summer, when, like we said, the sun shines in its full force, that, of course, is representative of the fact that Hashem is shining His light. There's a revelation of godliness. That is mainly the avodah of the neshama. It's everything is revealed. The neshama is a revealed, as we said in the introduction, a revealed state of godliness. In other words, the body, the guf, does not serve as a concealment, and it does not impede on the light of the neshama, just like the sun shines out in its full force and nothing blocks it. However, when it comes to winter, when it's all gloomy, it's all dark, that's when, quote, the light of Hashem, the sun of Hashem, is not shining in a revealed manner. Then the avodah is the guf, the body itself. The focus becomes on the body of a yid to elevate and to purify the body itself. In other words, not to just overwhelm it like we do in the summertime, so to speak, with the light of the soul, and therefore the body by default tags along, so to speak, in order to do Torah and mitzvahs. But here the main focus in the winter months, or in those quote-unquote gloomy months, when you don't see the revelation of godliness, the main focus is, and the absolute objective is, to elevate the body. And in the month of Teves, where it's especially cold, it's considered to be the coldest month, then this avodah, this mode of service of Hashem, is in its heightened state. Because, you see, in the other months of the winter, perhaps, although it's cold, but there is still a little warmth, so to speak. It's not the epitome of cold, and therefore there's a little warmth, where that is synonymous with the revelation of godliness. So there still is the light of the neshama that could be seen. But in the month of Teves, where it's absolutely cold, which that is a representation of total concealment of the warmth, the shine of godliness, that's when the avodah is specifically with the guf, specifically with the body and through the body. And that is what the Chazal meant when they said, Haguf ne'ena min haguf, that the essence of Hashem has pleasure from the body itself. So the Rebbe brings a story to illustrate this, that the Frierdiker Rebbe related in the name of the Tzemach Tzedek, a story that happened with the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov very much loved light. He liked when the place was physically illuminated. One time, in a cold winter night, there wasn't enough light in the shul, and the students didn't have any candles. So the Baal Shem Tov said to them, go outside and take Eislicht, or in English literally translated, ice candles. Now, what is ice candles? We know them as icicles. In Yiddish, they're called candles because they look like they're dripping, and like the dripping of a candle. So they give the impression of somewhat look like candles, and that's where they get their name in Yiddish, Eislicht, ice candles. So he says, take some icicles, break them off, and put them in the candlesticks and light them, and they're going to burn. And of course, the students went ahead and did that, and they burned and they lit. So the Tzemach Tzedek said about this. The Tzemach Tzedek commented that by the Hasidim and the Talmidim, the disciples of the Baal Shem Tov, they burned, meaning they lit, and they illuminated even ice candles, even icicles were able to light and illuminate their surroundings. So what did the Baal Shem Tov show with this, says the Rebbe? That he illustrated how the ice itself can become warm, how the ice itself can become an agent of light. Not that it ceased to be ice and therefore it gave off light, but while it remained ice, while it remained icicles, it gave off the light. And this is similar to the idea over here. It's not that we try to overwhelm the body with the Ohr HaNeshama, with the light of the soul, and therefore, so to speak, have the body cease from being a physical body, but rather, while it is a physical body, as it is a physical body, which inherently is an agent which conceals godliness, through it and with it, we are able to elevate it and purify it to a point where it itself gives off the godly light. It itself shines. The question is, how is this possible? How can we possibly make the body give off light? In other words, where does it get the potential for this? How is this possible that the body should be able to give off light without, so to speak, being powered by the neshama in a revealed manner? The answer is, when you think about it, it is actually specifically the guf, the body, that has a direct link, a direct shaychus to atzmus of Hashem, to the essence of Hashem. You see, the soul, the neshama, is an agent of revelation. It's Ohr and Gilui. And therefore, what it has a direct connection to the revealed part of Hashem, meaning the name of Hashem, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, all the various emanations and revelations. However, the body, which doesn't overtly have this, it doesn't seem to have any of this, yet Hashem, as we know, chose the body of a Yid. Who's Hashem? Who chose it? The atzmus of Hashem. There's a bechiras ha'atzmus. The essence of Hashem chose the body of a Yid, and therefore the body of a Yid has a true and direct link, direct connection to the essence of Hashem. When does this come out? When does this become revealed? Specifically when it's dark. When there's a time of concealment. When there's a time when you don't see godliness. That's when the depth of that connection comes out, and that's when you can appreciate the potential that's there in the body. And this is what is meant when the Chazal say, guf nene min haguf. Back to what we said before, that the guf, the atzmus, the essence, or like we say, gufa de malka, the essence, the actual presence, essence of the king, is nena, has pleasure from the guf itself converts into Kedusha. And now we'll appreciate the connection between Teves, the month of Teves, and Chanukah. As we said in the beginning, Rosh Chodesh Teves always falls out on Chanukah. That means inherently the month of Teves is connected to Chanukah. What is the idea of the candles of Chanukah? It says in the pasuk, "V'havaya yagia choshki," and Havaya, meaning Hashem, will illuminate the darkness. Meaning, Chanukah's thing is not just to light up a light and push away the darkness, but the actual chutz, the actual outside, the actual choshech, darkness itself, should become illuminated. And where does this come from? From what power? Well, in that pasuk, in that verse, it doesn't say Havaya Yagia Chashki, it says V'Havaya. And, meaning this is already indicating, this is pointing to something which is even greater. When you say and, that means there's something before. Something that comes before Havaya, which is the essence of Hashem, which has the power to illuminate even the darkness. And this is what we said, that this is the guf, atzmus, the essence of Hashem gives power to the guf, to the body down here, that it itself should be able to illuminate. And in general, says the Rebbe, we can appreciate in a general sense, that is, this is the contrast between the avodah of the time of the Beis Hamikdash versus the avodah of now. You see, in the times of the Beis Hamikdash, godliness was in a revealed state. They saw the 10 miracles in the Beis Hamikdash. All the miracles in and surrounding the Beis Hamikdash made it clear and obvious in a revealed manner that there is Hashem. You didn't have any doubt when you saw it. And you got charged up spiritually when you saw these miracles. It was a clear and obvious indicator of Hashem's presence. However, in the time of Galus, when it says, we don't see any of our signs, so to speak, as it says in Tehillim, godliness is very concealed. Or as it says in Yeshayahu, the darkness blankets the entire earth. And this is the difference between the avodah in the times of Beis Hamikdash was more like the avodah of the Neshama, the avodah of Havaya. But now in the time of Galus, it's the avodah, the expression of the depth of the guf, the body, when there's a total concealment, and here comes to play the potential that's in each and every yid, specifically being in the body, specifically being connected to the matter that comes directly from the essence of Hashem. And now we can, of course, understand the connection between Teves in general and the fast of the 10th of Teves, Asara B'Teves. You see, because the whole idea of the fast is that it's the beginning of Golus. It's the beginning of this whole concealment. Now, what is the ultimate purpose of the fast? Not just to mourn the past, but more so to do tshuva, to transform it, that to bring that this day itself, which is the symbol, or perhaps the ultimate symbol of darkness, the beginning of darkness, this day itself should convert and transform into being a day of sasim v'simcha, a day of joy and happiness, which is the same idea of taking the cold and turning it into heat, taking the concealment and turning it into revelation. And then, of course, we come to the second significant date in the month of Teves, which is the 24th of Teves, Chavdalo Teves, the Yortzeit Alter Rebbe. What is significant about a Yortzeit? This is the day in which all his endeavors of his lifetime, as all his accomplishments come to a culmination, and they actually become even more effective, greater in a greater application to the entire world. Now, if we have to sum up, what really is the culmination? What really is the achievement, so to speak, of the Alter Rebbe? Well, the Alter Rebbe took something where there is nothing colder than it. As far as intellect, human intellect is something which is the epitome of coldness, because it doesn't have any whatsoever emotions, quote-unquote warmth. And he took the human intellect, and gave it the ability to understand some of the warmest things possible, emunah in Hashem, and feeling of Hashem, love for Hashem, all through and with the intellect. In other words, he took the cold and transformed it into warmth. He took something which it in itself seems to be concealing godliness, and that he took and gave it the ability to reveal godliness and appreciate godliness with and through the Seichel.